Hello everyone, I am Evil TV for Amy. I'm going to read The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin by Beatrix Potter. Let's start. The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin by Beatrix Potter. This is a tale about a tale that belonged to a little rascal, and his name was Nutkin. He had a brother called Tinkerberry and a great many cousins. They lived in a wood at the edge of a lake. In the middle of the lake there is an island covered with trees and nut bushes. And among those trees stands a hollow oak tree, which is the house of an old owl who is called Old Brown. One autumn, when the nuts were ripe, and the leaves on the household bushes were the golden and the green, Nutkin and the Tinkerberry and all the other little squirrels came out of the wood and down to the edge of the lake. They made a little raft out of a twig, and they paddled away over the water to Owl Island to gather nuts. Each squirrel had a little sack and a large oar, and they spread out his tail for a sail. They also took with them on the offering of three fat mice as a present for Old Brown, and put them down upon his doorstep. The Tinkerberry and the other little squirrel each made a low bow and said promptly, "Old Mr. Brown, will you favor us with permission to gather nuts upon your island?" The squirrels filled their little sacks with nuts and sailed away home in the evening. But next morning they all came back again. Owl Island and Tinkerberry and the other brought a fine set of mold and landed it on the stone in front of Old Brown's doorway and said, "Mr. Brown, will you favor us with your virtuous promise? I gather some more nuts." But Nutkin, who had no repast, began to dance up and down, tickled old Mr. Brown with a needle and singing, "Oh, Mr. B, riddle me ree, he'll be happy to be without the wool, he'd be pity without the wool. If you touch it, he'd pity will bite you." Mr. Brown woke off suddenly and carried the mold into his house. He shut the doors in Nutkin's face. Presently a little surge of blue smoke from a wood fire came up from the top of the tree, and Nutkin peeped through the keyhole and sang, "A horse full, a hole full, and you couldn't get both full." The squirrels scratched for nuts all over the island and filled their little sacks, but Nutkin gathered old apple, the yellow and the scarlet, and sat upon a bench top, playing marble and watching the door of old Mr. Brown. On the Thursday, the squirrels got up very early, and went fishing. They caught 7 fat minnows as a present for Old Brown. They paddled over the lake and landed under a crooked chestnut tree on Owl Island. Tinkleberry and 6 others little the squirrel each carried a fat minnow, but the Nutkin, who had no nice manner, brought no present at all. He ran in front singing, "The man in the witness said to me, 'How many strawberries grow in the sea?' I answered him as I but could, 'As many red herring as grow in the world.'" But old Mr. Brown took no interest in the riddle, not even when the answer was provided for him. On the fourth day, the squirrel brought a present of 6 fat beetles, which were as good as plums in the plum pudding for Old Brown. Each beetle was wrapped up carefully in a dog leaf fastened with a pine needle pin, but Nutkin sang as readily over as ever, "Oh, Mr. B, riddle me ree, flower on angel and the frost of the Spain met together in the shower of rain. Put in a bag, try to round with a string. If you tell me this riddle, I'll give you a ring." Which was ridiculous of Nutkin, because he had not got any ring to give Old Brown. The other squirrels hunted up and down the nut bushes, but Nutkin gathered ribbons, pinned cushions off a berry bush, and stuck them full of pine needle pins. On the 15th day, the squirrel brought a present of wild honey. It was so sweet and sticky that they licked their finger as they put it down upon the stone. They had stolen it out of a bumblebee's nest on the top of the hill, but Nutkin skipped up and down singing, "Hum a bum buzz buzz, hum a bum buzz." As I went over the tip-time, I met a flock of bunny swine, some yellow neckle, some yellow backed. They were the very bunny swine the dancer went over tip-time. Old Mr. Brown, turning up his eyes in disgust at the internet of Nutkin, but he ate up the honey. The squirrel filled their little sacks with nuts, but Nutkin sat upon a big flat rock and played nippings with the crab apple and green fire corn. On the 6th day, which was a Saturday, the squirrel came again. For the last time, they brought a new laid egg in a little rush basket, as well as putting the present for Old Brown. But Nutkin ran in the front, laughing and shouting, "Humpty Dumpty in the back, without the couple of neck, 44 doctor and 44 right, cannot put Humpty Dumpty to right." Now old Mr. Brown took on his dreaded egg. He opened one eye and shut it again, but still he did not speak. Nutkin became more and more excited. "Oh, Mr. B, oh, Mr. B, hickomo on the king's kitchen door. All the king's horse and all the king's men couldn't drive hickomo off the king's kitchen door." Nutkin danced up and down like the sunband, but still Old Brown said nothing at all. Nutkin began again. Other old Bower has broken his headband. He comes roaring up and up the man, the king of skulls, with all his power. Cannot turn out of the power. Nutkin made a whirring noise to sound like a wind, and he took a running jump right onto the head of Old Brown. Then all at once there was a fumes and a scream and a loud squeak. The other squirrels scooted away into the bushes. When they came back, very quietly peeping around the tree, there was Old Brown sitting on his doorstep, quite still with his eyes closed up, as if nothing had happened. But Nutkin was in bed with a coat pocket. This looked like the end of the story, but it isn't. Old Brown carried Nutkin into his house and held him up by the tail, intending to skin him. But Nutkin pulled it so very hard that his tail broke in two, and dashed up the staircase and escaped out of the attic window. And to this day, if you mount Nutkin up a tree and ask him a riddle, he will throw sticks at you and stamp his feet and scold and shout. The end. 다음에 또 만나요. 안녕. Bye.